All right, it is another Microsoft Ignite, and I have another opportunity to interview the incredible Jamie Stark.
Oh, hush up. Come on, dude. Not okay.
Are you kidding? After Comms Be Next and the cool video clips you played of your Hollywood days, it was... Yeah.
So what Josh is referring to is Comms Be Next is an awesome show. Had its first incarnation in Denver a couple months ago when it was just a community organized event. For some reason, they thought it made sense that I give the keynote. That was ridiculous, but whatever. I showed up because they were kind. And I had to embarrass myself by showing old videos. So whatever you do, don't go out to YouTube and do a search for Jamie Stark and OCS, because you don't want to do that. That'd be bad. We want to talk about good stuff, right?
People seem to laugh at the time in the room. So at you, with you, it doesn't matter. Everybody's happy. So
how's Ignite going for you, man?
Ignite is going great, actually. Busy though. I've been doing one or two interviews, and it's been intense. But
this is how I've been staying engaged at Ignite. And the trick is, you buy a giant coffee at your hotel, and then as you drink it, you refill it with the suboptimal show coffee until it's horrible. And I just took a big old drink right now.
Has it reached that level?
Yeah, pretty much.
Good,
yeah, so that's
go.
the sign that I need to actually eat something.
Yeah.
That's how my Ignite's been. It's just been fantastic. Tons of community events, tons of great sessions, and clearly lots of news about teams.
There is a ton. I was just talking to Matt Landis about that earlier. I had him try to read off the list of news in 1 minute. Couldn't do it. It was too much. So
that's mean, man. You get all flustered.
He had him in front of him, and he tried to make it through, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, something you got to practice. No, I mean, it's true.
And a lot of these features are connected into your area these days, which is the Modern Portal.
That's right. Oh yeah. Okay. So first of all, Modern Portal. That's our own internal little code name for it or whatever, which is all fine. It is officially the Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business Admin Center. I refer to it as Teams Admin Center, but yes, of course, it still does administration for Skype for Business as well.
All right.
And yeah, I mean, this is one of the big things we've been working on over the last year. You know, when Teams first came out, yeah, there was an admin experience, but it was built into the Office 365 Admin Center, and it only operated on a per tenant basis. You know,
okay.
so kind of big Fisher-Price level switches that didn't have a lot of granularity with respect to the stuff that you could do.
It was a start, you know.
Clearly, exactly, no. Anything in software is possible. It's just a question of priority and resources, right?
Timelines.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so now is the time that we have to get a reasonable and yes, modern administration experience for IT, and that's what we've done. So yeah, last year me and Ori were out giving the presentation. It was all visionary, right? It was like, and this thing will be amazing soon, and now we have it. And so it's fun to see it show up in a lot of different places. Like I was aware that we were going to have it in the keynote that Lori gave. That was fantastic.
Yes.
Along with all the other features and stuff that were shown off in her keynote. But then in a mechanics recording it was there, and then I rolled into another random session, and someone's like, oh yeah, and here it is in the admin center. And so to see our work percolate in all these different places is just it's an incredible treat.
It's got to be rewarding.
Yeah. And I can't wait to have the opportunity to share this back with the team that does all the real work, the devs that put all this together. I mean, they're unfortunately not able to come out to Ignite. They're back. They're back at the home office,
But that feedback is motivating. That stuff drives you.
Oh yeah.
To hear.
Oh no,
Absolutely.
it's absolutely. And so it's been fun. I've been able to throw them a couple things. Like I took a picture of the mechanics session with
there you go.
I don't know 300 people watching the thing. Like, look, it's our thing.
That thing we've been working on.
Yeah. Anyway,
there are a lot of things that over time. This is kind of like the way development has been going on lately with teams and different products, right? Within the cloud space, is that a little bit more each month or so comes out, and you make a little more progress. And so we've seen that happen with the Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business Admin Center.
Strong work.
Little
marketing's happy with you now.
Thank you. A little more words than what I said, but yes, that is the official name there. And so now as we've seen more come out throughout the year, we have a few more areas within the portal that are hitting right about now.
Yep.
So let's dive into a couple of those. Probably one of the biggest and most notable things that's going to show up near the top of the interface there is the ability to manage your teams
Right.
within the interface.
Right. Yeah. So a little bit of history on this. Obviously, there's a facility for within the rich client for owners to manage their teams. Right. So that was a part of the product from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And so we had to do some kind of back end infra work to allow tenant administrators to look after all the teams in the tenant, not just the ones that they are particularly affinitized to or owners of. And so that took a little bit of work for us to get that done. But now, yeah, you have a facility to view all the teams in the tenant, see stats about how many owners you have, how many channels are set up, some light usage statistics, things like that, and then be able to do management tasks around managing channels. So I can add and remove channels. I can change some of the settings with respect to teams. And it is definitely the first step, to your point. We want to get stuff out there. We want to get feedback on it, and then we already have a fairly deep bench of additional features that are coming. And what's interesting for folks to remember is that the way that the portal operates is that we sit on top of, for the most part, public APIs that are available. And with respect to teams, a huge number of those APIs are in Graph, right? And so as those APIs get stood up, not only do we expose those through a GUI in the admin center, but now IT pros also have the ability to programmatically influence that stuff directly through Graph as well. And that's a core tenet that we have, where we're not like, we don't want to make Pat Richard upset here, right? Like APIs and PowerShell, like those are key, and we want to have reciprocal capability between what we do in the admin center and what you can do at the API level.
Yeah, and to your point, nobody wants to make Pat Richard upset. So, well, yeah, good call. There's been a lot of great news around APIs and dev, though, during the conference, and so. But tying into what you said about managing those teams, there are a couple other things that have made news that are not necessarily in the portal right now anyway, right?
Sure.
And that would be the admin roles that have come into teams.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's some cool stuff that allows people weren't always the most willing to just make someone a global admin so that they could manage teams and things within this admin center. And with these roles, you can get a little more granular about what you're managing where.
Precisely. I got to give a huge shout out to my colleague Isabella, who led a lot of the charge on both the RBAC work and on the team's lifecycle. That's what we call the managed teams, the team's lifecycle management.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because that's what we think of, is that when a team is born, how do you manage it? How do you then decommission it when it's necessary and archive it? Huge shout out to her work, and a lot of her work with respect to role-based admin control, or RBAC, as we're familiar with it in the Skype for Business server and Exchange days, was twofold. One, we needed to support the scenarios for call analytics, right? So call analytics had special user kind of configurations that you could assign to users. That wasn't true RBAC. There weren't actually admin roles within Office 365. It was something that was just done within the call analytics preview, which satisfied the requirement of having somebody with a help desk level capabilities be able to troubleshoot calls. But we wanted to make that something that existed kind of properly within the broader Office 365 framework.
Of course.
So we did that, and then we also added two roles, one for Teams Communications Admin and one for Teams Service Admin. So Teams Service Admin looks over everything within the Teams Admin Center. Teams Communication Admin will look after the telephony components. Now, truth be told, don't have a lot of telephony built into the portal yet. We're working on that. That's one of the things.
I can't wait for it.
That's probably one of the areas too where we've really tried to be thoughtful around what that redesign means from a workflow perspective. When we did the initial work to stand up the kind of core, at the time, Cloud PBX and PSTN calling facilities within the Link Admin Center, we didn't have as much opportunity to really be thoughtful about the manner in which folks could manage phone numbers.
Right.
And now we've gotten a lot of feedback on porting and on number acquisition, and so we've taken all that. We've taken a lot of feedback from our MVPs, and we've really worked to.
We're a pretty quiet bunch, though. Generally, I mean, there's.
That's right.
You got to pry it out of us.
Yeah,
so.
no, I don't think that's the case at all. But it's critical, right? Like we want to incorporate all that feedback. It is a significant amount of work, so that's not something that you'll see before the end of the year. That's probably something that'll be a little bit more early in 2019.
So to stop you in your tracks on that, so you're saying fair. Probably first half of 2019 we should maybe start to see calling features in the portal?
Yeah, that's my goal, right?
Goals.
So yeah.
Okay.
That's our goal. So yeah, it's something that we've worked on in a few of the demo tenants that we have rolling around at Ignite. You'll see the voice on the left nav. Well, right now that's empty. If you click on that, it doesn't really go anywhere. But in our dev builds and stuff, that is something that we're slowly kind of building out. But it's a really complicated set of features when we want to get it right. So we're going to take our time to do it.
I mean, that is one of the more complex areas, and it's great that the management of those areas is going to be managed by RBAC roles and won't just be opened up to the whole
absolutely.
stuff.
And then we'll be looking at, when we think about the intersection of features and RBAC, then we'll be looking for feedback on, well, is there a need to have that go even more granular, right? So I can say the communications, the team's communications admin role, that role will manage telephony stuff. But then do you need to even have that more granular to say, no, I only have telephony stuff in this region or telephony stuff for this location? That's what'll be really interesting as we start to get this capability out there and customers start to play with it. The next round of feedback on that will be really interesting to see how we kind of drive those features forward in kind of the combinatorial thinking around the feature and kind of some of the core platform capabilities like RBAC.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's move on to live events policies.
Yeah. So live events is the new term for broadcast.
new Skype meeting broadcast, live events.
Now it's Teams live events. And so just like messaging, just like meetings, there are policy objects that exist in the back end that we have a kind of a life cycle around as well. We call that a CRUD, where I can create them, I can read them, I can update them, I can delete them. And live events is one. There's a duality for a lot of these. Most of the time you'll find that there is a set of settings that persist across the tenant, and then there's a set of policies that can either be tenant level or user level.
Okay.
So the live event settings, we are still working on getting that out the door. There's a little bit of interesting stuff happening in the back end there.
Okay.
But live event policies are there, and so you can absolutely say, hey, this group of users has this facility with respect to live events, this other group of users does not. So for example, if you want to give your marketing department the ability to do live events, that's all good, and you want to keep that away from the engineers because you have no idea what they're going to say. No offense, engineers, but whatever.
Maybe it's
the lawyers. Maybe you don't want to have the lawyers say
go.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have the lawyers talking. And so then you can create those policies. You can assign those down to your users, and then everything kind of end to end in the pipeline pays attention to those policies and respects them.
Yeah, it's great to see those in there. I mean, that got in there pretty quickly after live events was launched.
Yeah.
So good timing.
Well, that's what we try to do. We're not always successful at that, but yes, like as we work with the feature teams, we're the IT Pro team, and so we're thinking about the IT Pro scenarios. We're caring about the IT Pro, and we're kind of standing up for, no, there should be a switch there, because some people may want to turn that off. It's nothing against a feature. It's just that some folks are going to want to have different requirements and are going to want to have a different experience with Teams.
It's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Exactly. That's the goal, right? Yeah. And so generally, as the feature is in development, we're kind of there alongside, going, hey, have you thought about a policy? What kind of policy model are you thinking of? Is this something that should be per user? Does the infra support that? I mean, there are some cases where it doesn't make sense for things to be down to a per user. You don't want to give every user unique dial-in conferencing numbers, for example, because that's a whole lot of dial-in conferencing numbers. That's something that makes more sense to be at a tenant level.
Yeah, perfect. Upgrade. Upgrade is a huge topic right now.
Big topic. Great session, by the way. That I don't know if you were in that the session. Oh, you missed it all.
I've been a little busy, but I had to miss that one.
BJ and Francois did a fantastic session on Teams Upgrade. It's one of 4 sessions that talk about the upgrade from Skype for Business Online into Teams. They knocked it out of the park. It was awesome. I've been involved in it just from the kind of policy work and having that being stood up in Modern Portal. Excuse me, Teams Admin Center. It's almost close to the end of the day. It's really well thought through and well engineered in the sense that you can go from server straight into Teams with one PowerShell command. Like you can take that user and have them be born into online, one PowerShell command. It's awesome.
Right.
And so what we've done in the portal is the different interop or upgrade modes that exist for Teams Upgrade. Those different modes are exposed in the portal, and those could be set either at a per tenant basis or they could be set at a per user basis. So the classic example is you've got your group of folks in IT. They want to test out what Teams Only is like. So you take those users, you assign them that Teams Only policy, and then from that point forward, they're just using Teams for all of their communication stuff. They can go and check that out, see what that experience is like, and then you could start then slowly migrating more and more users after the migration plan and the upgrade plan is all figured out.
Yeah, the ability to do per user policy assignment is a huge
critical.
Deal.
Yeah, no question.
So
as we were thinking this, there's no question that had to be there,
right.
And we needed to have the facility for folks to be able to think about it atomically. The one thing that's important to note, though, is that the Teams Only setting is currently what we call flighted. It's only available to certain tenants right now who are helping us do testing. That is soon to go away, but I don't know, depending upon when this gets posted or when folks listen to it.
Yeah.
But understand that is soon to go away, and then the next steps after that will be additional modes that detail different characteristics or different configurations of using Teams, right? So I could use Teams, for example, with just kind of chat and team functionality, and everything else is turned off.
Like the collab side of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you could have meetings kind of be separated out.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some cool granular functionality coming as far as the modes go.
Right. Yeah. So the modes that are in there, you may go, oh, I don't have Teams Only. I don't understand. They were talking about these other modes. I don't see them.
Yeah.
Know that those are coming. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's on the horizon. Awesome. That is really the bulk of what I wanted to cover at this point as far as what's been announced. I'd like to kind of poke a little more, though, and say, is there any insight you can give us as to roadmap items? What should we expect to see in the next quarter or so?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the big sets of work that's happening with relation to the server. So we talked about this in the server session that was also today.
Great
Skype
session.
for Business. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We were hanging out there.
Yeah.
So Skype for Business Server 2019 is going to be using the auto attendant capability that's in Office 365. Mm-hmm. So there needs to be a management facility for that.
Yeah.
And we're building that, and that's going to be part of the Teams Admin Center.
Okay.
That is planned to be available generally around the same time that Skype for Business Server 2019 is available. That is probably the set of work that we're focusing most on right now, is to have that capability out and be ready right around the same time as the availability of the server.
Now, would that be separated from auto attendant functionality as it exists currently in the Skype for Business Admin Center?
Indeed.
Okay.
And so over in the fullness of time, what folks will do is, instead of using the auto attendant call queue capability in the old Admin Center and Link Admin Center, they will then start using it in the Teams Admin Center.
Okay.
And so that's something that we will continue to do. More and more capability will be moved off of the old portal and onto the new one. We've already done call analytics, but call quality dashboard will also be coming in the future and be moving over and be integrated into the experience here. And that's key, because one of the main design precepts we have with the new portal is that there's no way to get lost in it. there are referential links everywhere, right? And so anytime there's a user, you can click on that user and go to the user detail page. The user detail page has information about calls, and I can go and I can dive into the quality of the call right there. There's not an artificial separation between these features. They're all integrated together within the management experience. You'll see the same thing for device management. You'll see the same thing in Teams Lifecycle, where if I'm looking at a team and I see the owner, I can click on the owner and I can go to their user detail page.
It feels central. It feels like sprawl is being prevented.
We're really working hard to be thoughtful around that user experience and making sure that the whole thing operates together rationally.
Awesome. Yeah, and you kind of already answered the other roadmap question that was burning on my mind about calling features.
Yeah, absolutely.
You probably knew I was going there.
Totally.
But,
the telephony pieces, I won't deny they're extensive, right? So we have to think about assignment. We have to think about acquisition, so acquiring new phone numbers from Microsoft when you're using the calling plans. When we're going to think about porting, and then of course hybrid as well, right? So we've got this great capability with direct routing. We want to be able to configure direct routing scenarios within the portal. We want to be able to monitor direct routing within the portal. My colleague Sharanya is looking after that. Right. I'm so good. We've got a great data pipeline there. We're going to be exposing that within the admin experience, and then the last piece is around ensuring that on-premises phone numbers, so phone numbers that you own as part of you're renting, I guess, from your carrier, that those have an experience as well within the portal, right? And so the telephony piece, there's a lot there. There's a lot for us to do, but know that is something that we're absolutely prosecuting, and we'd love to be able to get feedback on all of these areas.
Well, again, you're gonna have to pry it out of the MVP crowd. But
that's right.
We'll try to help.
I don't think that's the case. You guys are phenomenal at keeping us honest, holding us accountable to our commitments that we make over time, and no, we
have fun. We honestly appreciate as a group being able to be so plugged in and seeing that feedback actually heard and acted on. It's great. It's great.
For everyone out there who with Server wanted to have a PowerShell version of CIFA util. The MVPs had your back, and now that is on the roadmap for a future CU with Skype for Business Server. That was one of the things that was announced here. So, that's a really small thing, but that happens all the time. And
kind of a big deal, though. Yeah.
Right? So it is. It's really meaningful that cool. The stuff is that you guys are giving us this feedback. We're hearing it, and we're taking that on, and we're making sure that gets in the priority list.
Jamie, as always, I appreciate you taking time for me. I know that's a busy schedule.
But this is great. I love doing this stuff with you, and love to do it again. Absolutely.
All right.
And we're only halfway through Ignite, so we got a couple more days left to have some fun, right?
A little more party. It's a good. There's some more time left, so we'll. Great sessions though. Don't check out early. Friday there is a lot of good deep dive stuff happening. My session is tomorrow. Don't miss that. But direct routing's on Friday as well, and your session is tomorrow as well.
My session's tomorrow, 4 p.m. It's BRK 3113. My colleagues, they have a session tomorrow, and they have a session on Friday. So, don't bail on Friday. Friday's great content.
Yes.
And, really looking forward to seeing everyone out. So.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.